hi everyone, and welcome back. Tom Slivick with Lennox, and Al, go ahead and tell us what's happening at the national level. What's hot.
Well, if you look at the mission of the American Legion, there's 4 pillars.
Okay.
And the 4 pillars are national defense. We want a strong country. We want peace through strength. The problem there is sequestration. Sequestration
Right.
are the automatic cuts. They're indiscriminate cuts. Instead of reducing the budget by reducing things that need to be reduced, they're just across-the-board cuts that are decimating our military right now.
I'd like to say, instead of accepting the responsibility to prioritize,
Correct.
we just say, well, let's do this on a percentage thing.
We'll just take a knife and make a cut.
And of course, the bad part, Al, most people probably know, but to tell you that I'm aware of it too, the Defense Department does not take 50% of our budget. So to take 50% of the sequester in that department and then leave the other 50% for the other, probably 90, 84% of the budget.
The military has taken the largest portion of the budget cuts.
Right.
The domestic portion has taken far less. And really, cutting some of the programs that really needed to be cut weren't touched at all. So it was just an across-the-board blind decision because our Congress and the President, they couldn't agree to a budget. And it's a sad commentary on, quite frankly, it's a sad commentary on the progress that happens out of Washington sometimes. So we're concerned about national defense, peace
Right.
through strength. Also Americanism. Well, Americanism, I think, is regenerating in this country. People are realizing that what America is as more and more they see how other parts of the world and the genocides and the discrimination and things that go on that
I would hope the moral ambiguity or the moral equivalency between nations, or people take a fine look at that as well, and look at motives and actions, and you could see that America is an exceptional country.
Sure. One of the other 4 pillars is children and youth. And our children and youth programs in the American Legion across the states, across the entire United States, are flourishing. Our baseball programs, our boys and girls states, we support scouting. We're touching so many lives of our youth of America, and I think the organization, that's one of the true highlights of what we do is our children's programs. And then the other is helping veterans. And that's the challenge right now. The Veterans Administration is underfunded. The demand is high because of all these folks returning with serious issues. Some of them are physical, some of them are mental. The system is overwhelmed. And then the system to adjudicate claims is overwhelmed. If you filed a claim today, you could wait a year before it's even looked at.
Those are probably areas that you could throw money at and fix.
And that's exactly correct. And part of sequestration was cutting the VA budget. So you can see that how the cuts in the wrong place have a significant impact.
Right.
And our job in the American Legion is to point these issues out in Washington. Now, our main headquarters are in Indianapolis, Indiana, but we also have a significant office in Washington, D.C.,
Okay.
and we use that office. We have full-time staffers that are on the Hill every day talking about veterans issues, talking about the military. We go back to Washington twice a year, all of us in force.
Okay.
And we go back in the wintertime in February, and then we go back in the fall every year. And we have point papers that when we leave Washington, they know what we want. They know where our feelings are, and are we successful all the time? Of course not. But even when we're not successful, oftentimes we plant seeds, and that's what we're there for.
Does I don't want to say the other side, but I don't know what to say, but opposing, do they feel that maybe veterans are as uniform, or as, not uniform, but hold most of the same views, that we're a tight-knit group, maybe not necessarily belonging to the post, but value the the service that we
That's the
the
key.
fellow people,
That's the key.
fellow former GIs have put forward?
You're exactly right. Value the service. Some legislators understand the service and understand the value to this country. Some don't. And we tend to be very successful with those that value the service of any veteran.
I would like to speak out, and I'm sure you know as well that, most of the military go in, become involved with the United States military at a young age. You're very idealistic. You very care. Al, I kind of think, I'll tell you, I think my country is probably, to me, the most important thing because it's the environment that my family can be in, my church group can be in, or whatever. So to me, that's number one. And defending that and holding that so that you can feel we're safe is, God, that's number one. I don't know how it could fall low. I have no understanding how that works.
Well, Tom,
Did we abuse it at one time or something? That I don't understand. If you follow what I'm trying to say.
well, I think part of the problem is when we went to a volunteer service force, if you look at the membership, if you went back 30 or 40 years, most of the people in Congress were veterans.
Right.
Now, today, maybe 10% are veterans. They haven't got a clue what a veteran went through. They just don't know, and that's okay if they don't know, if they honor the service. But there are offices I go into that actually are glad when I leave. But those are the offices I don't leave. Those are the offices I insist. I want to talk to somebody in authority. Here are my point papers. You might not agree with them, but you're going to know what they are before I leave this office. And I said, and I go to every, up and down the halls of Congress, I go to every California congressman, and I also go to our 2 senators. And I let them know that it takes several days to do this. And believe me, I'm not a young man anymore. I used to be able to do a lot more. But it's so important for me to get that word out. And again, if I can plant a seed somewhere down the road where some chief of staff or veteran staffer will say, maybe we ought to think about that. And there's a second thing, too. The VA. The VA knows we understand their operation. They come to us for advice. When they do their budget every 2 years, that was our insistence, by the way. How do you plan for 1 year with a different budget?
Right.
So we insisted on a 2-year budget. We got it. They come to us and they say, what are we going to spend on this? What are we going to spend on
I'm
that?
not sure how they could even plan without the budget because the government hasn't given us a budget in 5 years.
I know.
Al, we're run out of time. Let's invite everybody one more time down to the American Legion Post, and you go ahead and look at the camera and do it, and then we're going to go to our break.
Wednesday, September 11th, at 9 o'clock in the morning. Come on down about 8 o'clock. We'll have coffee and a continental breakfast, and be part of this remembrance, be part of this this day that will go down in infamy in America.
Al, thanks for coming by.
Thank you,
We'll
Tom.
have you back. And thanks for watching us here on TSPN. We'll see you again next time.
You're watching Amador County's #1 news and sports leader, TSPN.